Thank you for the mayor. We pray for our chief of police. We pray for first responders, the fire department, and everyone, all the council members. We pray, Lord, that you would just keep us and touch us. You're mighty God, and we love you, Lord, because you've been so good to all of us. And I thank you for this opportunity to come tonight, to give us word from you, Lord, and I just thank you. So bless every one of us in this place right now. It's in the name of Jesus we pray, and all the people said amen, amen, amen. Amen. Thank you.
Calvin, I know you think you're going to get off that easy, and that's not easy. I get it. But, you know, we got to have at least one part of my favorite song.
One part of your
This
favorite.
guy could have been Elvis Presley in the years past. Just a real quick one, if you would. Calvin.
Just one verse of it?
Yes, sir.
One of those old hymns of the church. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. It's good enough for me. It was good for my dear mother. It was good for my dear mother. It was good for my dear mother. It's good enough for me. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. It's good enough for me. Amen.
Thank you. One of my favorite songs. We do that every May at the National Day of Prayer, and it's really great. And if we could, I'd like to call up our new commander of the American Legion, Mr. Fritz Seiler, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Calvin, you can stay up front if you'd like to as well. You can stay up front if you'd like to.
All right. All right.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
I'm not going to sing anything. You don't want me to sing.
I would guarantee you, Fritz, that you sing better than I do. I can almost guarantee it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go now to the roll call. All the council members are here. Your mayor's here. Your city attorney's here. Your city manager's here, as is your chief financial officer for the city is here. So we're all here, as is our person who's keeping the records for us tonight, Miss Christy Ash. She says, how come you can't recognize me? So you want to stand up?
No, I'm good.
You want to speak?
I'm good.
Oh, she's good. But anyway, we're glad to have everybody here, and glad to have you guys here too. We now move into the adoption of the agenda. Can we have a motion, please? Okay, we have a motion to adopt the agenda as it's written. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the agenda is adopted. And we will move now into a presentation of our recent audit. Is our people here? All right. Waiting in the back of the room. Just for information, every year we have to, by law, be audited by an outside firm, and they're going to give us a brief overlay of this audit tonight. The other thing that we as a city has to do by law is to have a budgeted, balanced budget.
Thank you, sir.
As does the state. Wouldn't it be nice if the country had to have a balanced budget? We probably wouldn't be $37 trillion in debt. But anyway, with that said, they'll get their act together. And I do apologize again, my picture's on the front of this. Oh, that was, wow, that's tough. That's tough, makes me feel old. But anyway, if you introduce yourself and
All
ready
right.
to start.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, my name is David McCoy. This is Miss Marquika Gale. We were your auditors this year for the city of Loganville, and we are here just to discuss the report with you and answer any questions that you may have. This report was completed prior to the end of the year, and it was submitted to the state of Georgia in order to fulfill that compliance requirement. As we go through this report, I always like to point out that the only part of this report that actually belongs to the auditor is the auditor's opinion. That being said, the opinion that we were able to issue for this set of financial statements is what we call an unmodified opinion. That's a clean opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that we can issue on a set of financial statements. So what that means is as we come in and we performed our procedures, tested balances, went through bank reconciliations, tax digest reconciliations, all of those different things, we found the information being reported by the city to be materially correct. Now, we're not saying that everything is 100% absolute correct, because you couldn't do an audit on that much information. It wouldn't be feasible. But what we're saying is that they are materially correct, okay? Here in the beginning of this presentation, we've put together a couple slides to try to show some of the trends that the city has, and it's kind of interesting following after the meetings that you've already had. May see some interesting stuff here. So you'll see here on this first slide, this is a 5-year comparison of the city's total revenues across all funds, and you'll see that the revenues since 2020 has grown a little by little. Starting out, it was just over $15 million in 2020. Now that's total. Now that's everything. That's your taxes. That's your water, sewer. That's splosh, T-splosh when it come in. That's everything. It has grown now to just over $20 million. So you've shown consistent growth in that area, as have the expenditures. So you'll see the expenditures in the same period of time has grown from roughly $12 million to just north of $18 million. What we report here to you are on the major funds. The city has multiple funds, but what we focus in on is what we consider to be the major funds. The major funds are determined by a calculation of the volume of activity that flows to each of these funds. The general fund is always required to be major, but in addition to the general fund, the city also has the American Rescue Fund, the 2019 SPLOSH, the Water and Sewer, and the Solid Waste Fund. These are all your major funds for 2024. Looking at the general fund balance sheet here, you'll see the majority of the general fund's assets are all in cash and cash equivalents. It's right at $16 million in cash. Total assets for the general fund is 17.5. The other important number here to look at is the unassigned fund balance, which was just over $16 million. So that's the portion of fund balance that you as city council have the opportunity to manage and use as needed in the coming year, or in the year that we're in. You'll see here, looking at the general fund's fund balance, it has also grown over this same amount of time. You'll see that in 2020, the fund balance was just over $8 million. That fund balance has now grown to just above $16 million. The last year when I was here giving a presentation, there was a lot of questions about, well, what's the right amount of fund balance to have? I went back and I've looked up, done a little research, and what GFOA recommends is that a local government should maintain at least 2 months worth of fund balance and unassigned. Now that number can fluctuate depending on the particular local government. So every local government is different. You have to take into consideration how volatile are your expenditures in your community, how reliable are the revenue sources in your community. So if you feel like those sources are pretty stagnant for your community, then you can rely on using the 2 months. But if there's opportunities where you're prone to natural disasters actually hitting your area, then you probably should increase from the recommended 2 months to a higher number in order to overcome those expenditures. But you'll see here, so at the end of the year, the city had 5.4 months worth of expenditures in the unassigned fund balance. Again, this is your general fund revenues and transfers. You'll see by far the biggest revenue source for the city is taxes. Now, that number is not just property taxes. I know y'all been discussing property taxes a lot tonight, but that number there is property taxes plus your local option sales tax, your SPLOST, your T-SPLOST, hotel, motel. So there's more than just property taxes in that number. But what we're driving home is that the majority of the revenue that's generated here in the city of Loganville is in some form of a tax. And this is a chart just showing that. Total expenditures for the general fund was just over the $15 million. And you'll see that this is divvied up pretty consistent from what you see from different local governments around the state. It's just over $3 million in the general government, and it jumps up to just over $7 million for your public safety, and then public works is again around $3 million. Again, this is very common, very normal to what we see in other local governments. Public safety is by far the biggest department that most local governments have. Therefore, that's why they have the bigger budget. And you'll see again, this chart just kind of demonstrates that. Skip that. So going to your next major fund here is, like I said, it was the American Rescue Fund. You'll see at year end, now keep in mind these numbers are as of June 30th of 2024. That's important to remember because I would imagine the majority of this money has been spent as of today. But you'll see at June 30th of 24, there was $3.5 million still left in ARPA funds. In this presentation, 3.2 of that is being shown as unearned grant revenue. And those are funds that were required to be spent prior to or committed in a contractual form by the end of December of 2024. Okay. And you'll see here that in 2024, 1.2 million of the ARPA funds was recognized as revenue. It was the majority of was spent on capital outlay items that assisted the city in their growth. Then you'll see there at the bottom, the ending fund balance for the year is $170,000. What that is that's your interest earnings on the money that what ultimately will end up being used for the same purposes as the ARPA grant funds. Your other major governmental fund here is your 2019 SPLOST. Again, it had $8 million in cash, all of which is being shown as restricted fund balance of 8.2. That's important to note that that fund balance is actually restricted. So that's restricted to the purposes of what the taxpayers approved during with the resolution. And you'll see this is how the money was spent. And this is a schedule here that shows that in the current year there was $1.6 million spent with the 2019 SPLOST. And that was for the purchases. There was 2 fire trucks purchased, and there were some other vehicles that was purchased during the year. And so that's how the SPLOST funds were used this year. And this is your water sewer fund. So this is your major enterprise fund. And you'll see again, the biggest assets in this fund is your cash, and then your depreciable assets, the actual water sewer system itself. The important thing to see here, this is your income statement for the water and sewer fund. So you'll see that number in green up there at $73,000. That's an important number because what that number is saying is that the system is funding itself as it is now. Even though it's close, it's still positive. And so that's very important. There's a lot of water sewer systems out there today that number is actually red. It's not green, so that's important. I'm sure you guys are managing that and keeping a close eye on that to keep your rates in line with the actual costs that you're incurring. And you'll see at the end of the year that net position in the water sewer fund was just right at 29 million. Again, now the majority of that is the actual investment in the system itself. And this is your last major fund, your solid waste fund. Again, you've got cash, a fairly good amount of cash. And again, these funds are considered unrestricted and not restricted at 3.9 million. And again, the solid waste fund is doing really good. It's shown a positive operating income of just over 500,000. This is a list of what your non-major governmental funds. So if you're interested in those, I'm sure probably starting up next year, that 2023 SPLOST is probably going to become a major fund as y'all begin to utilize those funds. But the rest of those are probably more likely to stay non-major because there's not a lot of activity in them. We have prepared a couple of note disclosures here. The first one's being on the fund equity. That's just a breakdown of your fund balance. And the second one is your long-term debt. So you'll see here, these are your major governmental funds, and that's just breaking your fund balance down in total. Again, you'll see the total fund balance at the end of the year for your governmental funds was just over 32 million, and you'll see the different buckets that make that up. And this slide here is a listing of your governmental activities, long-term debt. I believe somebody has a question about the net pension liability. Is that right? Okay, so we'll talk about it. So if we'll flip, you have your audit report there in front of you. If you want to flip over to page 39, this is note 12 in your financial statements. And so this is your pension note disclosure. Okay.
I guess what my question was to Danny is I don't understand. If you could explain to me
I can try.
what money's, I mean, I don't understand this. It says
Okay.
27 million, 70, I don't understand. Is that money we're
Okay.
paying out? Is that money that's in a fund somewhere? I don't understand this.
Okay. And so looking at page 39, do you have it up? Okay. So you see that schedule there at the bottom. The first column says total pension liability. All right, so what that liability is, that's the liability of what the city would owe in pensions if everybody retired today. That's everything. That's everything you'd be obligated for, okay? But you see the next column there is called the fiduciary net position. All right, so that column there is made up of funds that the city has contributed over time into this plan. So this is considered a funded plan. So the city's made contributions. Those contributions have purchased investments. These investments are back in the plan. So you'll see there's 21 million there. So you take the difference in them two numbers, and the net pension liability is $6 million. Okay, so every year the city obtains an actuary study on the pension plan. And the actuary, what he does or what they do is they study the plan, they study the investments. You guys have made assumptions about pay raises and life expectancies and things of that nature, different trends. You have to select those. So your actuary takes all that information and they determine, okay, the city needs to pay this amount of money to fund the pension. And so every year the city funds that into the plan in order to build up these investments so that when individuals retire and the benefits are being paid out. So you'll see there was $985,000 in benefits paid out in this year, in this actuarial study.
So you're saying that we need to be paying in $6,078,004?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what are we paying in
Okay?
on a yearly basis?
So you'll see,
All right,
okay.
where's that
You'll
number?
see on page 40, right in the middle of the page, it says that the city paid in $417,000 to the pension plan. Now, that number was provided to the city by the actuary in order to keep the plan properly funded. Now, local governments can elect to pay in more, and there are some governments actually that pay in less, but it catches up with you over time. Most local governments fund the plan as recommended by their actuary, because every government that's a part of this pension plan use the same actuary. And
So what
it's-
is that $6 million figure? What, explain what exactly?
That's the net liability that's being reported on the face of your financial statements, that if everything ceased to operate, then that would be a liability the city would owe.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
It does, yeah, I just didn't understand it. Well, I do have one other question if you're done. It's not about that, it was about something else. So you said that when you were going over that, because I didn't see those slides in here about the growth revenue increase. So it went up, it was going up every year. Was that including the ARPA money?
Yes, ma'am.
So
And
next
that's a
year,
big
since there's no
chunk of
more
it.
money, we should see that number come back down.
I would expect to see it starting to come back down
Right.
as the ARPA money is used up.
Mm-hmm.
And all the CARES money, because there's more than just there's more buckets out there. As that money is being used up, which is this year, you're gonna see that trend back,
Right,
I
because
would
people are gonna
imagine.
say, oh, they're making a lot of money, it's 20.
Right, that's
It isn't
right.
that we made
That's
that money,
right.
that was a ARPA,
That's right.
that money was donated in, so as that's spent, I want them to understand, it's gonna start going back down, you're gonna see that we're,
That's right.
Trending down again.
What people didn't anticipate with the CARES and the ARPA money, everybody expected loss. But I think what most people have seen is an increase in sales taxes. So there wasn't an actual loss in sales taxes, there was a gain in sales taxes, 'cause everybody was home doing home projects. And so then you had the intergovernmental funding on top of that, so that's what's created that growth. And we have seen that across the state, not just in Loganville. But you're right, that number's
yeah,
gonna.
I just wanted to point that out in lieu of the fact we were just talking about
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
House Bill
that's right.
581, and people are
Yeah.
gonna go, but look, they're making all this money.
Right, no, I agree, I'm
We're
glad
not
you
making
pointed it
that,
out.
we're not
That's-
making, this isn't money we earned or made, it was
Right,
that money.
right.
And now that it's spent, you're gonna start, and like you said, the sales tax, it's all gonna start going back down.
And two, in the, and so you'll see in that ARPA fund, there was, there's $3.2 million that's gonna be recognized as revenue, more than likely in FY '25. So that's still gonna be there through another year. So. This slide here is just talking about that the Loganville Development Authority that they do not issue separate financial statements, but their statements are included in the city's report. So if you're interested in that, that information is available. And because of all the ARPA and CARES money, the city was required to have a single audit this year. And so, that being said, that's what we're looking at here, the schedule of findings and question cost. That's in the back of your report. Ironically, I personally think that's one of the best pieces of information in the entire report, and it's usually the last page. But what this is telling you is, again, is that the auditor issued an unmodified opinion on these sets of financial statements. There were no material weaknesses identified, no significant deficiencies identified on the financial audit. And again, here, on the compliance side of the audit, there were no material weaknesses and no significant deficiencies identified. And again, an unmodified opinion was issued. And the major program that was tested was the American Rescue Plan, as expected, and more than likely it'll be tested again next year. Again, there were no findings identified this year for the financial statements or for the compliance report. That concludes our presentation. Would like to thank Mr. Danny and Ms. Natalie for doing a great job of being prepared for us as our team come in and perform the procedures that they needed to. They found everything to be very organized. and very responsive to all of our inquiries. And so that's how you get a report like this. So that, all the credit needs to be given to this staff.
We also appreciate your effort, you know that. David, just as a question for you. Sometimes we are up here and we're talking about pension plan in particular. There are many times we hear a percentage that you, like we're vested 95% or whatever the term they use. How does our pension plan stack up to the others that you see? Is that a fair question? It's toughy.
It's very tough because every local government selects their own trends. Okay, so when you were establishing your pension plan, you had to do a study. So you said, okay, well, you know, we're going to select this one, this one, this one, this one. Well, everything you selected goes in, that actuary uses when he's determining what your required contribution amount is. And that's different for every local government. Every local government makes their own choices. So it's very hard to compare anything related to Loganville to City of Monroe
Fair.
or to Social Circle or anybody else because you guys selected different options. It's kind of
That's
like
fair.
buying a car and you're selecting different packages on the car. Now, one good thing, one thing to point out, just to drive that home, is you'll see if you look on that same page, on page 43 there, we said that, well, this is related to your OPEB plan. But if you look on page 40, you'll see the current rate that the city has right now is 7.375%. But if that percent changed up or down 1%, you'll see the $6 million that's being reported right now. If you went down to 6.375%, your liability would go up to $9.8 million. Just a 1% change. If you go the other way, your liability would go down to $2.29 million. Just 1%.
Do they give us a
So-
choice?
Well, it's, there are, yeah, they give you things to consider. You have factors, and then you have to make,
That involves money now.
that's right.
Understand.
It's like Mr. Danny was saying, every option has, you select this option, well, there's a repercussion on the other side. You still got to have enough money to run the government.
And please share with the audience, where is your offices?
We are located in downtown Macon.
Okay. Okay, well, I thought. Okay, any other questions from the council?
I don't have a question. I just want to congratulate Natalie and her team for doing an excellent job. Apparently, just no mistakes, no nothing. That is just unheard of, I personally. And Danny, too. I didn't want to leave you out but I went to the CFO instead of, okay. Thank you.
And the main thing is, we've got a team on board that wants to do the things that need to be done and do them right. Instead of having somebody come in, although it has happened in the past, and tell us we've made really some big screw-ups and we have to go to work fixing them. This is nice.
Well, you could have findings, and findings, I try to tell everybody, findings happen, okay? Let's just be honest, they didn't happen this year, but they do happen. And if you have a finding, it don't necessarily say that somebody did a bad job. It just means something happened, and we were required to communicate it.
And it's a very, very complicated system. Most CPAs would struggle with government accounting because they're not taught government accounting. And if you just put one figure in the wrong sub-account and it ends up in the wrong account at the end of the day, you got to fix it, and that's what these guys help us do. And thank
That's
you.
right. That's
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Safe journey home.
Thank you.
Anything else? Very good. Okay, and now we're going to move into, and I'll be out of this one, for the election of the vice mayor for the year. Do we have nominations?
Yes, Mayor. I believe Lisa would do a great job. She has some of the most tenure up here of anybody other than maybe yourself or Anna Huntsinger. So I'd like to nominate Lisa Newberry as our Vice Mayor of the Year.
Okay? Any other nominations? Okay, I guess it's time to take a vote.
Well, so, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to say one thing for a minute. So, as Joyce brought up the other night, the vice mayor fills in case the mayor's not present. And I will say, it's thankfully you've come up to all the work sessions and all the city council. So, thank you very much for that. I was certainly honored to be the vice mayor this past year. And anyway, just want to say thank you again to the council and to you.
We appreciate your efforts, and, you know, it's just part of living a boring life. Nowhere else to go. Okay, with that said, the nomination is for Lisa Newberry to be the next vice mayor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Well, that said, Lisa Newberry will be the vice mayor for the coming year. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very good. Okay. For the sake of the audience, if all of you have an agenda in front of you, and they were provided on the table there, the number 2 section of this is called the consent agenda. And these are the things that we talked about on Monday night that everybody on the council agreed to. So instead of having to put each of these on there and vote on it separately, we do that as a consent agenda since everybody already agrees. And I need a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Mayor, before you take a motion, just to let the council know that we did talk to the GEMA, she's not the director, but GEMA representative for the generator, and she has confirmed that the money is there and we would get it.
Okay? So that's on the water control treatment for the treatment plant?
Yes, that's for the FEMA, yes,
Okay.
generator.
So the FEMA part of that is available, and we'll get that money.
Correct.
Okay? Can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of adopting the consent agenda, please vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye, it's struggling here. Ann?
You threw me off, Ann. You went early.
All opposed? Okay, consent agenda is adopted. And we'll now move into the next segment of the meeting, the Planning and Development Committee. And I'll turn that over to the committee chairperson, Ms. Lisa Newberry.
Thank you, Mayor. So tonight we have, excuse me, 3 items. So item 3A is the case for R-24-034 by Kittle Homes. And there was a misunderstanding on their part for Monday night, so they asked if they could be here tonight to speak. And I've gotten with the council, and everybody seems to be in agreement that it would be okay to have a short presentation. If you just want to show us what's changed from the last time we talked. And by the way, we've already held our 2 public hearings, so we're good. We've checked the box on that. Okay.
Yes. Hey, everyone. My name is Zachary Kittle from Kittle Homes. I just first off, I want to apologize to council about Monday night. I had no clue. My wires got completely crossed. I did not know that it was a presentation. I thought you guys sat around a conference table and talked, so definitely my fault there, for sure. As of tonight, I would like to actually table our presentation for another time, just to discuss with the council about some other options that we're trying to come up with on the site, just so we can get everybody straight and make sure we're hearing everybody's voice of what you guys want and what you wanted to see on site, and do that. But for tonight, I'd like to table it and go to that work session on next Monday, or when it happens next month, and a month from now, and do that. And I'd appreciate it if we could do that.
Is that the day your new baby's going to be born?
No, March 2nd, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, he'll be here. I might have some dark circles under my eyes, but
Let there be no doubt.
yeah, I'll bring him. He might be loud. You
Yeah, and
never
I
know.
think, if memory serves me correct, we've already tabled once, and I think you had asked us to table it until February, not into March. So-
Correct, yeah. And I'm willing to do it because I looked at the schedule. Now we'll push back. I think it's the end of March is when the schedule is. So we just want to make sure we're all on the same page with you guys, City Council. I know it's been, kind of back and forth on the density issue, so we're trying to get that straight, make sure, we want to get this project passed. It's important, and I think, talking to you guys and hearing the presentation tonight of how important property tax is, I think this is very important to try and get this project passed. I think, we want to work with the city as much as we can and fix the sewer problems and Cowan Road and everything we can and add to that $300 million in property value,
Okay. Okay, thank you, Zach.
Thank
Any
you.
questions? All right, with that said, I'd like to make a motion that we deny case number R24-034.
We table it?
Deny.
Deny.
My motion is deny.
Okay. Well, if we deny it, you can't come back for a year.
You can vote on this and then make another motion.
Okay. Is everybody?
The matters before the council will be considered by motions.
Thank you.
Okay. So
What'd
we,
you say?
What are your thoughts on why to deny?
All right,
Because we haven't got, we don't discuss
We got a
that?
second.
you got to get a second, and then you can
Oh,
have
okay.
all the discussion that you
Sorry.
want. So,
Yeah,
so
okay.
right now, I
Melanie.
heard a motion to deny the rezone request.
Okay.
So
And
we
if there's
have
a
a-
second, then absolutely can ask for discussion, discuss it all night long.
okay, so we have a motion to deny this request. Is there a second? We do have a second.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second, and now we'll ask any questions you want to ask.
I'm confused. Can we now file a motion to table it, or what are we doing?
Well,
There's a motion
We've got
on
to,
the-
we've got to
Hang on.
answer the questions first, and then we'll take a vote on this motion, and then we'll do another motion if you choose.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor, so y'all can have discussion on that motion.
Yeah, I'm
And-
just curious your thought process,
and-
why
and-
you would deny it.
And when you finish with the discussion, the
Then we'll
chairperson
vote.
can call for a vote.
Right.
In the interim, there can also always be a motion to reconsider, there can be a request, a motion to amend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So remember, Robert's Rules of Orders are our backup if y'all can't all agree on what we're doing. But basically, you got a motion here to deny the rezone request. Y'all need to discuss it, and then you can take a vote on it. Or if there's a request for an alternative proposal, we can certainly address that too.
So my reasons is that we've already heard this case for going on, I don't know, maybe a year now, and we were asked to table it before, we tabled it before, now we're being asked to table it again. And I did communicate with everybody this week, so, and got everyone's opinion.
Have we ever tabled, oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think you asked me if I wanted to vote against it. You asked me if I would be willing to hear it, and I said yes. There was no discussion about how do you feel about voting against it.
And that's fine, that the motion was to deny. If you want to vote against it, and the council wants to vote against it, you can and make another motion.
Right, but I take objection to saying that you talked to everybody about it, because you didn't talk to me.
Oh, I didn't hear anything about it
I
either.
think I said communicate,
Okay. What'd you say?
communicate through email.
I know, but your email you said you heard from me that I was okay to hear it. There was zero discussion about denying it.
Well,
Yes, I agree. I didn't get anything.
I just want to state that
Okay, well-
in public. That's okay. Go ahead.
and I think it's okay for me to make a motion. If you don't agree with it, then you guys can vote, make another motion.
I understand.
My only
Oh.
contribution to this discussion would be, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was right behind me.
Oh, I'm so
Brenda.
sorry.
I just have a question, just for equality purposes. Have we ever allowed somebody to table twice in the past?
Sure we have.
But Shane, did we table you
I think
twice?
we tabled him, Shane, twice. I think we tabled twice
It
on
seems
Tuck
like we
Farms.
tabled the
On Tuck Farms, twice.
PUV, yeah, Tuck Farms.
3 times.
3 times, 4 times? Oh, well, okay, I was just curious, because I think what we do for one, we might want to consider doing for all, unless there's some other reason. If tabling is your reason to deny, then I see that as a possible.
And I'll say Lisa asked me, and I said, yeah, I'm fine with voting on it tonight. But I want to hear from them, but I want to be as fair as possible. If they think they can give us a better product by giving them a month, I'd rather see the better product. I would hate to turn it away and have them have to wait another year if they could already work and bring us, something that is more pleasing for the community. I just think that is the most fair in my mind to do, is only a month. Say in a month they come back and nothing's changed, I would be angry. So, I mean, just being honest here.
Sure, and I'll say, just like I said Monday night, I was little disappointed in just seeing a small change is putting the gate at the one end and not totally understanding. So, you know, I could probably wait and see something else.
Well, I have another question. I mean, from what I understand on the history of this project, it was brought before P and Z. The main objection from P and Z was the exit to Cowan, which it appears that they have addressed here. So what are our feelings about this plan as it sits? Like, I know there's some density questions. I mean, does anybody have any feedback they want to share on that, just as it sits before us?
I don't know if there's really, I guess, I mean, I don't mind talking about it. To be honest, I think going down to one driveway is needed because of Cowan Road.
Agreed.
They are widening it to the correct width. Who knows, one day, 20 years from now, we might get, I hope it doesn't take 20 years, to get Cowan Road fixed, it might be able to. But, you know, if it has a Knox box, it's only for fire emergencies. But that takes them down to one entrance. And I know nobody can read GDOT's mind, so we don't know if it's going to be only right in, right out. They're going to get left, stuff like that. And with RM6 being our highest densest zoning, I can see why there's issues with people saying, I know traffic's not really a concern, but getting in and out could be a safety issue. So the lower number, even if it is a lower class of number, I would be willing to look at that. And that's just me personally.
No, mine is just fairness. That's my thought.
Did you have any thoughts about that?
Oh, no, I'm concerned about the one in it, just like Brandon just said, no need to repeat his, but I think that's a very dangerous area, has proven to be very dangerous as far as wrecks and bad wrecks and whatnot. And inevitably, people are going to turn left. Why? I do not know. But they will turn left, and that's just, the danger factor is my concern.
Yeah, and I certainly feel for I mean, there's a few residents, and I feel for them down Cowan Drive. I know it's a tough situation, but I mean, I'm concerned about having one entrance off of 78 and having that access and safety. And that's, you know, I'd like to see something, at least I was hoping to hear some type of better situation than that.
Yeah, me too,
Well,
Bill.
I guess I'm just sensitive to the idea, you know, we have developers, and it's not just Mr. Kittle, is it Kittle? I'm sorry. Not just dealing with but, you know, I mean, I know Shane and Tuck, and, you know, we tell them what we like, and then they go back and they do it, and they come back, and then we change it, and so, like, if they're gonna table it, I think that I would ask if we vote to not deny it, that seems like a double negative, but if we vote to table it, that it might be helpful for the developers to get some feedback on what they should come back to us in 30 days so that they are not in a position to have to table it again. So that would be my ask.
And I kind of feel like we're already there, but listen, this is up to the council. I'm chair and I made the motion. You guys make the vote. If you vote against the denial, then I'll need a motion for someone that wants to vote in favor of tabling.
Okay.
So can we have a vote?
Sure. You want to go ahead and do the vote? You want me to do the vote?
Yeah, so everybody's in favor of denying the rezone request, which is the current motion on the table, signify by raise of hand, please. I think that would help. Okay, 2 for the denial, and all those against the request to deny the rezone request. Motion.
I'm against denial tonight, too.
Bill,
Yeah,
you said
1,
something.
2,
Oh, you're thinking, okay.
3. We have 2, 1, 2, 3.
Bill's thinking.
Yeah, all right. Okay, 2 to 4. All right, so the motion fails, so the floor is ready for another motion.
Okay, so I need a motion.
I would like to make a motion that we table this for 30 days to be heard at the March meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Do we have discussion at this point?
If you want it, you can.
So is this the appropriate time to give developer any additional feedback of what we would want to see?
Sure, you can have discussion on the motion to table and the reasons why you think it's legitimate to table it.
Well, I think we heard, there's some fear about the in and out, the one in and out driveway, which I think is a density related. So would you rather see a lower density? I mean,
I
where,
would, personally.
so what are you thinking, like an RM4-ish kind of thing? Or just less?
RM4 would be better, but I know that area is tricky because that has, oh, I'm so sorry. That area is tricky because it doesn't have any around it, but it does have all the commercial
Right.
around the front. And I do know if that whole thing, it is commercial now. So say it does go commercial or stays commercial, no matter what they put there, is going to add traffic. So if they're asking, for a down zone, I'm all for that for housing because they are going to keep the commercial up front, so we're still going to get commercial onto our tax base. But I still got to think about the people that have to get in and out of there all the time. And even with commercial, I know we cannot, but here we can. And the only way I could feasibly see having less people coming in and out would be for the lower density zoning.
So I have can we ask the developer a question, Paul Ariello? I have a question. So this is currently CH.
It is.
So how much office space could you put on CH?
I actually have a thing I can show you potentially. So,
And don't turn your mic on too, please.
can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm showing you guys, and I'll flip it to you guys, see, but you can see, upside down, hold on. You can see that right here is the equivalent traffic of what our neighborhood is, okay? That right there is a fast food restaurant. That's a sit-down restaurant. That's a shopping plaza. That's a medical office, building materials, and that's general office. So if you take that general office, which is just that one blue outline, is the amount of traffic that is generated off that office compared to our entire neighborhood. The exact same. I could put 10 of those offices on here and make 10 times as much traffic as the neighborhood, as 125 townhomes.
So the blue box is like a commercial office building of a certain
Correct.
square footage?
Yep, that would be, I think 36,000, two-story office, everything, three-story office. So if you had 10 of those, then it would be 10 times the amount of traffic.
Is that true? I mean, they could drop that on that
120
space? I don't mean to, I'm just,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, from just the sizing, you could put it on there like that, but you would do it like that. But same thing with the building materials. If you even did like a nursery or a medical office, then you would be the traffic would be immense compared to this. This is truly a downzoning where you're downzoning it, where you're only at 54 cars at the peak hours in and out of there.
And the empty space up at the front towards 78, on where there's a blank, what is the plan for that?
Those are two restaurants, and they're supposed to have two different entrances for their, it's a separate project type of deal.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with the residential piece?
No, it would not. So I'm trying to have them have their own entrances, and then we just have one entrance here for ourselves.
So are you asking for rezoning only on the parcels where you've got,
Only
from
here
there south? or
Yep,
whatever?
from here south, yeah.
Got it.
It's only the 23 acres, I believe.
Okay.
That's what it is. I can show you guys. Thank you.
Where did you get your information
Yeah,
on
Zach,
the-
I was about to ask,
Yeah, no
did you
problem.
know about this? Because
Yeah.
we're saying this is the first we've seen of this. Did you know about this?
I haven't seen it.
This is the first time. I was planning on present this, but obviously, I knew that density was gonna be a
Okay.
problem
Haven't seen
tonight, so I wanted to show you guys a work session to get feedback
I
on
mean,
it.
I've never heard anybody talk about office space in this, or,
No.
Correct.
this
I know,
kind
I'm
of-
just comparing it, that's it. I
Okay.
just want the comparison because I know traffic was a big deal.
Right, but where did you get those figures?
That's from the Institute of Transportation Engineers. This is their calculations that they use. So it's not from us, this is from their calculations that we use. And so I'm trying to see how much traffic could actually be on the site if we don't do a down zoning that we're trying to ask for here.
Robbie, do you have an opinion?
No, that's a different one. I don't have that drawing.
You're just listening?
Well, it'd be hard for me to have an opinion. It'd be hard for me to weigh in on this without actually crunching the numbers myself.
And I'll give it to you,
Okay.
Robbie, and you can look over and check us and
Yeah, and I
make
mean,
sure.
I'm not trying to turn this into a presentation.
I was going to say,
just-
do y'all think we're getting the cart before the horse? If you're
Yeah.
going to, if you're
Yeah, I
going
know, I
to,
think
if
it
you
needs
were
to
to
go
table
back
this,
through
this
and
needs to
Yeah, I
be.
just want to show you
Yes.
the example or anything like that.
No, I
if
just
you
was
have
trying to
questions.
give them some direction so that we didn't get to
Yep.
March.
If we do go down from an RM6 to a RM4, then we lose 29 units. So we got from 125 down to 96 would be the difference. And that's a difference of 14 cars an hour. So it's not a ton difference on the
Are
traffic
we allowed to
side,
receive
but-
all of that, like, before?
You've done your
We can
homework.
receive all that before next month,
I'm a numbers
right?
guy.
Sure, you can receive anything you want to.
I mean, can we get copies of that just to
Yeah,
start looking
I
at?
think
Not-
we
Not
have-
tonight, I mean, just email it or?
I think I have copies, actually.
Okay, that'd be great.
If you went down to RM4 and had 90, how many?
96.
That would eliminate the requirement for you having two entrances, would it
No,
not?
sir. 75 units is what
Is
that
it
is.
75, Robbie, or 100? Remember?
I think I would still like it for the fire.
That was 100.
I think I would still like a second entrance for the fire. So even if they,
Yeah,
It's
I feel like we're having,
75, I believe.
I feel like we're having a lot of discussion that we probably should have in March. If y'all are going to agree to table it, let's
That's fair.
just go ahead and take a vote.
I completely agree.
Okay.
I'm trying to give them enough data
I
and
got you.
feedback.
Yeah, I
So
just
that we
need-
don't repeat this in
Sure,
March
I
and everybody's
understand.
mad.
Yeah.
So I'd like to call for a vote on my motion, please.
Lisa? You want to call for a vote?
Yes, I do.
Paul, you want to call for a vote?
Sure, with the chairman having called for a vote, there's a motion on the floor to table. All those in favor of tabling, please raise your hand, signifying in the affirmative aye. 1, 2, 3, 4 to vote to table, and those in the negative against tabling the matter, 2. The motion carries 4-2 to table this matter to the March council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda is item 3B, case number R24035. I'd like to make a motion to approve case number R24-035 with the following conditions. Require the sidewalks in the neighborhood along the Bay Creek Road. And number one is to require the sidewalks in the neighborhood along Bay Creek Road. Number two is to hire an arborist to determine the condition of the trees along the shared property line with 600, 604, and 608 Hunters Cove Lane. Remove any trees that were deemed hazardous and provide a copy of the arborist report to the city. Do I have a motion?
make a motion?
I made a motion to approve
Second?
with the conditions.
Second.
Paul, you want me to say, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 6-0. With conditions.
With conditions. Okay, next up on the agenda is item 3C, case number R24-036. And I believe that we have a request from the applicant to table this until the March meeting. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we table case number R24-036 until March 10th, 2025.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Paul, you gonna let me do this again? All in favor of tabling this case?
Aye.
Aye. please. Is that everybody? Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, that also will be tabled.
And that is all we have, Mayor.
Very good. That was enough, Lisa. But we're gonna do it again in March, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, with that said, we'll now move to Finance, Human Resource Committee. Ann Hunsinger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seems that I am giving most of my time to the chairwoman that's immediately prior to me. Sounds like that's going to continue into March. I don't have anything, but I would like to just give kudos to Natalie and Susan in the finance because, this is my business too, accounting, and so it's a big deal to have no findings. So well done to both of you and to the team. Y'all did a great job.
Yeah, great job.
Very good.
And of course, led by Danny, That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank
And
you.
it's complicated stuff. We'll move now to Public Safety Committee. Melanie Long.
I have no actionable items, but I did see Chief Lowry here earlier, so I'm glad he's feeling better. And I hope everybody has a safe weekend.
Greg, did he leave because he's still sick? Okay. We hope he's not sick. That's a good thing. Okay, anything else, Melanie? Okay, we'll now move to Public Utilities, Transportation, Bill Duvall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my actionable items have been covered on the consent agenda, but I'd like to bring up a few things. So March 8th, 2025, we will have a citywide cleanup. Anybody would like to join, please do. Come out 8 to 12 here at City Hall. Supplies will be provided, vests, gloves, that type of thing, and we'll be given an assignment and go out and pick up litter around our city and make it look better.
You think they'll find any?
Lots of it.
Yes, there is a lot.
Let's see, next thing is the dump day is going to be the 12th of April from 8 to 12. That's going to be bring your unwantables down to the utilities building at H.O. Bird Drive. That's but no tires, no paint, no car batteries, no petroleum products accepted, but
Residents only.
residents only.
No
Gotta be a-
businesses.
Gotta
Have
be
to
a
a citizen of the city of Loganville.
City of Loganville. Come on down. And I think how did we do last time? We had a bunch of bins.
A
filled up.
lot.
Yeah,
We filled up
Bunch.
17 dumpsters, if I'm not mistaken.
wow. It's impressive.
I'd rather them dump them there than on the side of the street, yeah. Yeah.
So, and looking on out a little bit further, April 26th, we're going to be busy this spring, aren't we? April 26th, Walton Clean and Beautiful will be hosting a shred day. It's a co-event with the Lions Club, and you can bring your stuff to shred here at the Loganville City Hall, the back parking lot. Thank you, Lions Club and Walton Clean and Beautiful. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now we'll move to Public Works Facilities Committee. Patty Wolf.
Since Bill took up all my time, I don't have anything for this evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank
Okay.
you.
Very good, Patty. Move to Economic Development Committee. Brandon Whitfield.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no actual items, but I did talk Monday. It got taken off the agenda, the RFQ. I want to give you all feedback on what I heard back from GMA and from the Georgia Downtown Association about town green sizing. They did share a lot of concerns. If we went too big, then it would let it look empty. They said they generally don't give a exact size, even off population, because it's based off of what land the city has available. They said some cities know they build too small because that's the only land they have. But they say most cities always do want something bigger even after they build it. So they just say we were in an enviable situation. But they also mentioned, and I know Munner has done this in the past, if we like different locations around the town, we could test them out. Like do a temporary stage, like one of those on the truck, and we have the concert at that space, and then we get feedback from the citizens and see what they think about that location and stuff like that, and then we use that data to then come up with where we should put the town green at. So say we do try it at that track and it doesn't do good, say we try it at the field, it doesn't do good, then we know, nope, it's where it needs to be, and we'll have to come up with stuff then. But I thought that was pretty good feedback I got, so I just wanted to let the council know. That's all I have, Mayor, since Christie's out of town.
Okay, very good. Just as a comment, 12 years ago, we built the current town green. Never thought that we'd be in a position where we would outgrow it this quick. But when we have some concerts, it is absolutely outgrown. People are in the streets, people are on the other sides, in the other yards, and all that kind of stuff. That's what precipitated this discussion. When and where and if it'll happen, I don't have a clue, but the council will have to make those decisions. But now, town greens have become a big deal for everybody. Every city has a town green, and it does bring people together, and that was our goal 12 years ago, is to bring the people of Loganville together and have fun, and we had other plans too, like everybody on Main Street opening when the concert was over. That didn't exactly pan out except for one night, but anyway, we'll try to do that again. But with that said, we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for the input. Now we'll move to City Manager's Report. Danny Roberts.
Since all 7 of you used my time, I'll be quick. Before you is 9A, the LED sign replacement at CS Floyd and 78. This is a budget item for $33,203.
I've made enough
Motion
motions
approved.
tonight.
Well, the concern we all have is that sign, we've used it for many years. It is worn out. It's sort of like the old Christmas tree we had. We got that from a different city, and every year we had to have our employees put it together with baling wire to get it to work the last few years, and we're in that same boat now where you can't get electronic parts for the old units. And if we want to continue to have a sign at CS Floyd, it needs to be updated. So, can we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second? Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. And it passes 5-1. Okay? One down, Danny.
Other option is, other item is House Bill 581 resolution. This is the resolution for you to opt out if you so desire to. Gives the authority to mayor to sign.
Okay, so we need a
Okay.
motion?
Well, I was gonna just say, I think I would rather wait a couple of weeks and vote till we hear if they're gonna amend do it or anything, because if we opt in or out tonight and they make changes, we might regret our decision.
So, I mean, I was thinking about that too, Melanie, but I feel like if we go ahead and make the motion tonight, we've been through 3 public hearings. If we had to come back, then we
It'd be
could
like
come back.
probably be a 5-minute called meeting to vote.
And I have not talked to either one of y'all, and I was thinking the same thing on the way over here.
I think I would feel better, because honestly, I'm still not sure which way I want to go.
So if I can give you all some insight on that, there was questions about that, and I emailed Danny about that earlier this week. House Bill 92 is the bill that's currently sitting in regards to amendments. It is still stuck in committee. It's still stuck in the Ways and Means Committee. So I'll just be extremely candid with you. I don't see any way, shape, or form. It is possible, it is technically possible, but I don't see any practical way, shape, and form where that bill would make it out of committee. It's already had 3 revisions to it. So it was originally introduced. The current version that's pending not only tags some additional changes to ad valorem taxation, it extended the opt-out period to March 31st, 2029. But the problem you have is that the law is written and is passed now is a March 1st deadline. So you have 15 days to get everything down to the Secretary of State. It is y'all's prerogative. It is y'all's choice to do what you want to do on that. But as to the issue of whether or not House Bill 92 is going to modify the law as currently written, I would say that it is extremely highly improbable that that could happen prior to the deadline that is currently written in the law. Because House Bill 92, A, we don't know if it's going to make it out of committee. B, we don't know how it's going to survive on the floor of the House. Then it's got to get over and cross the aisle to the Senate. Then it's got to get trued up. Then it's got to get passed by both houses if there's any changes. And then it's got to get to the governor's desk for signature. The practicality of that happening in 15 days is little to none.
So let's just say the improbable happened and they did something with it. If the whole idea went away, then our votes would be moot, correct?
Say that again. If the whole idea.
If they modified it, changed it, whatever,
Yeah.
we would be able to re-vote on the change, or if they got rid, we wouldn't be held to a law that was changed after our vote, correct?
Yes, in some particular ways, yes. But, I mean, it's hard to say because I don't exactly know because we don't know what they're going to change the law. Because right now it's stuck in committee, it's on its 3rd version, and so you just don't know. What you have in front of you is the law as it sits today.
Right.
And you've got this opt-out period
And
that's
if
before
for
you.
some reason they completely abolished it, then our vote would be moot.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
And crossover day is not till March 6th, if it's on schedule, so. that's
Also correct.
Another concern.
Yeah, but I don't know, I haven't, honestly, I don't have an answer. I'm not ready to vote, I don't think.
And I
You
highly
just vote
respect.
no on everything, Melanie. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
But
Please.
the only thing I would vote yes on is raising our homestead exemption to $5,000.
There you
I'm
go.
good with that
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, please, y'all, write your state representatives, because this law is a mess. It's put the city in a precarious position, and it just keeps going. So please, that's where you're going to change this. You're not going to change it here with council.
No, because
You'll change it with the state.
I
And
see the benefit of both sides of it, of opting in, and I see the benefit of opting out.
It's a
and then
crazy law.
I just feel like if I
Poorly
make a
written.
decision that I'm not prepared to make,
Yeah, and I want to say I respect Paul's opinion, and thank you for your advice, and, you know, this bill just keeps getting better and better, it seems like, but I know it seems like some of us up here have decided, and some of us are still want to be a little conservative. I know we've got to March 1st, but I would feel better if we would have a called meeting closer to March 1st, just in case something happened.
What if we said that we would go ahead and proceed with our plans unless there is a revision to the law, and we'll come back with a call meeting somewhere close to March the 1st, if that should happen, with the understanding it's more than likely not going to happen.
But
I mean,
we've
it's-
already voted.
They're not going to change anything.
I feel good about
So if you vote today for what you believe is the right thing to do today,
I think we
then that'll be in the
do
books.
it, and then if there's a change, then we can.
What do you think, Paul? I know you
I
talk.
think that's just difficult at best. I mean, it is y'all's prerogative. I mean, if I'm talking out loud procedurally, maybe the only thing that I could think about is we could count the days that the mayor has veto right, and he could veto the action. But I don't think it's feasibly possible for anything of this law to change before March 1st. So if you're going to opt out, you need to opt out now or opt out at a called meeting so that we have time to get publishers' affidavits and the other necessary documents off to the Secretary of State's office as mandated by the statute. I just think that you have to operate with what's in front of you, not what might happen. Y'all are the legislators of this city, and you operate in the world of what is the reality in front of you right now. Not the reality that may be, not the reality that you hear about somewhere, but the reality of what is in front of you. And the law that is in front of you right now is you either opt in or you opt out with proof of that opt-out to the Secretary of State on or before March 1st, which is a Saturday, which means we have to have it to him by the 28th, Friday. So it is y'all's prerogative to do what you want to do. But operating within a world of something that may happen when we're talking about laws being changed at the Gold Dome with 15 days remaining, I just don't think is a very plausible way to function here. Y'all just need to make a decision, is my advice.
Say
Are all the
we-
other entities, I'm sorry, Brandon, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So say we vote tonight, how long will it take to get the $5,000 brought up? Could it be something that's next month, 2
Next
months?
year.
It's totally up to the legislature.
Yep.
Is whatever they tell us.
I mean,
'cause we
we've
have to
already
submit
heard
it.
from, I mean, the mayor can write a letter tomorrow to your local delegation saying, we would like you to introduce legislation to increase the local homestead. Y'all don't have the authority to do that. Increase the local homestead exemption to $5,000. And then if you get local legislation, I mean, you might can get it in this session, but I would suspect that most likely it would be introduced and come up in the 2026 legislative cycle.
So say even next month, we vote to allow the mayor to sign that, then it might still be next year before it.
It will be next
It
year.
will be next year. The session's already started, yeah.
Yeah, it will be next year.
I'm gonna be getting the digest next month.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be next year for you to see that.
Can we vote to opt out and then in the same motion direct the mayor to draft a letter to our local delegation?
Yeah, I would ask for two separate motions.
Two separate motions.
But I absolutely think that that's y'all's prerogative to ask him to go ahead and make that request.
I agree.
and
I
we
was
can
just
assist
asking
in
how to do that.
But I would keep it clean, that we have
do separate.
we have a motion on the resolution as presented, which is the opt-out resolution, opting out of House Bill 581. And then if you wanted to follow it up with another motion to make that request to the mayor, then I think that's totally appropriate.
Then I would make a motion that we opt out officially out of House Bill 581.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Unbelievably, 4-2.
Yeah, surprise,
I
surprise.
know, life
Mr.
goes
Mayor.
on.
I'm gonna stand with the 63% of the voters.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to follow that with a motion that we direct you as a council, for you as our mayor, to draft a letter to our delegation to request to increase homestead exemption to 5,000.
Okay,
As
we have
soon
a
as
motion. Do we
appropriate.
have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay? We will do that as well. Just as a personal comment from me, I understand why people voted for it. I do. Who would not vote for a homestead exemption on their property taxes? I get it. But in my opinion, after talking to all the people in the tax business at the county and talking to the county and talking to anybody we can talk to, this is a pretty bad bill. And the fact that they're thinking about making 3 more changes and changing the opt-out date tells you that they understand it's a bad bill in my mind. Just my opinion. So what you saw on the ballot and what you voted for is not Bill HB 581. It is not. So personally, I'd rather have these folks up here making decisions on your property taxes, because if they make a decision, they got to pay it too. People downtown don't necessarily. Okay,
we
with
gotta
that
pay
said,
all
that's
this
just
too.
whatever my thoughts on the subject. Danny, is that all you got? That's all you got? Come on, it's not even midnight. All right, we'll move now to our city attorney, Paul Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mayor. No actual items for you tonight. As I mentioned at the work session, look for an email from me sometime next week on that simple amendment to the construction IGA of
Yes.
the library to extend out the deadline to turn in and adopt an operations IGA out to September 30th. That will allow for lots of good things to happen, and one of those most important being that hopefully the state gives the library that additional $1 million towards construction costs, which is what they're working towards right now. Be happy to answer any questions you have, and that's all that I have this evening, Mayor, and no need for an executive session.
Okay, any questions? This next one is a real toughie. It usually takes us hours to get this next one done, and if it takes hours, I want to apologize up front. Could we have a motion to adjourn? We do have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Wow, that was tough. Thank you all for...